What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since '03 and eager to see this team getting back to playing winning basketball. It is officially game day. In this video, we're going to talk about the upcoming game that will be played tonight. We'll talk about when it'll start, who we're playing, where you can watch it. We're going to go over 3 things that I am looking forward to seeing during this game. And then in the back half of the video, just kind of give some broader thoughts on the game and kicking off the preseason. So, the first thing I want to talk about is where you all can watch. This game will actually be nationally televised. It'll start at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be against the Milwaukee Bucks. So pretty cool that the first preseason of the year is going to be on ESPN. Should be easy enough for everybody to watch. Might even be a couple extra eyeballs on it just due to the fact that it's on national TV. But it is also on NFL Sunday, so probably not going to be anything too crazy. However, the Lions are off today, so if you guys are looking for something to watch, here you go. Pistons will be on at 8. So, to kind of talk about the things that I am looking forward to in this game and the stuff I'm going to keep my eyes out for, the first one is going to be who starts this game. Now, JB Bickerstaff actually has came out and said that he's going to try a couple different starting lineups, a couple different rotations during the preseason, just to get a feel for how players look as a unit and together. Definitely think that's a good idea for Bickerstaff to do, but I am curious to see who he does roll out with the first unit tonight. I think that it'll be interesting because yesterday at open practice, Tobias was not playing, therefore the first unit appeared to be Cade along with Ivy, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, and Duren. So assuming Tobias plays, be curious to see who goes to the bench in that unit. If Tobias, for whatever reason, does also rest today, be curious to see if he kind of keeps that 4-guard lineup out there. Just going to be interesting to watch, not only tonight, but throughout rest of the preseason, to kind of see what Bickerstaff comes up with as far as not only a starting rotation, but also who's going to be the key guys coming in off the bench first. So after kind of paying attention to the starting rotation, the next thing I'm looking forward to is going to be the rookies. Now, I was at open practice yesterday, and Ron Holland looked really, really good. He looked like he is ready to play. His athleticism really popped in person. It was very clear. His size is great. Honestly, he just looked really good yesterday in person. So really excited to see how he stacks up on a floor of all other NBA players, because we have yet to see that for Ron Holland. Now, at open practice yesterday, Clintman also, along with Tobias and Asar, did not practice. He was just kind of hanging out in hoodie and sweats, didn't hop in the scrimmage. So we'll be curious to see if he suits up tonight. Assuming he does, also really looking forward to Clintman, because during the preseason, I think that he wowed a lot of us with his passing ability, his ability to shoot it, his overall size. So I have a lot more faith and hope and promise in Bobby Clintman than what I would in most typical second round draft picks. I really think that he could not only be an impact player for the Pistons in the future, but maybe even as soon as this year. So really curious to see how he looks when he's on the floor with NBA talent as well. So will be fun to see both Ron Holland and Bobby Clintman suiting up for the first time in proper Pistons uniforms. And the last thing that I'm really going to be keeping an eye out for is going to be who initiates the offense for the starting and the bench unit. I know that we've had lots of discussions over the offseason about not only who is going to be the lead ball handler as far as Cade, well, maybe Ivy takes some more reps than he has previously, and then also who's going to be the backup point guard. Is Ivy going to start? If he does start, are they going to stagger him and then have him run the offense with the bench unit? Is Marcus Sasser going to be the backup point guard? And then also, of course, over the offseason, lots of people talked about us potentially signing a backup point guard, which we did not do. So going to be curious to see how that plays out. Yesterday at the open practice, both Ivy and Cade were with the first unit, and Marcus Sasser more or less handled initiating the offense for the second unit. So curious to see if that checks out today as well, and just kind of get an overall feel of who's going to be bringing the ball up with the certain units. So outside of that, I mean, realistically, it's a preseason game. I don't think that anybody who has been watching basketball for long enough will be drawing conclusions from one preseason game However, I think that there is an opportunity here to kind of see a lot of new things, new offensive sets that might be in play with Bickerstaff that we did not see with Monty last year. Just overall, going to be a really, really fun time to get a first look at a lot of these players in Pistons uniforms, whether that be the two rookies we talked about or even Tobias, Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, Paul Reed. Going to be really fun to see the new lineup and new team take the floor tonight. As far as the opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, I have really no idea what the word is on their team as of right now. Of course, they are focused on being contenders, whether that be Damian Lillard, along with Giannis, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton. Their lineup is quite a bit older as far as the whole entire NBA goes, probably one of the oldest lineups in the NBA. So I would not be expecting for them to come out really, really running their main guys for tons of minutes just because they've got bigger fish to fry than worrying about preseason basketball. I'm sure that they're more focused on making sure that their older players and vets are going to be physically ready, rested, and ready to go for the regular season. And even beyond that, the playoffs. So don't expect to see any sort of crazy high intensity, big minutes out of their starters. I would imagine that we see a lot of their bench. So, some of the new guys they drafted in the past couple of years, Marjan or AJ, a couple guys that are younger players on that roster that are kind of trying to find their way in the NBA. I would expect to see taking the bulk of the minutes for the Bucks tonight. But nevertheless, I would not be surprised, and I think that they will probably play most of their main guys as far as Giannis goes, etc. I just don't think it'll be for very long. Of course, when we're playing up against Giannis, always interesting to see who takes that matchup. In previous years, a lot of times Stewart would be the main guy, kind of trying to check Giannis. But of course, it seems that Stewart will be coming off the bench tonight. So does that mean Duran's going to take that matchup right off the rip? I don't know if Tobias will do it or kind of how that'll all play out. But that's another thing I'm also kind of looking forward to as well. Just seeing how much they switch and kind of who guards who as far as the main guys for the Bucks. Because if Damian Lillard played last year, that'd probably be Asar's matchup. But of course, Asar won't be playing tonight because he's not cleared yet. So it'd be interesting to see who takes that matchup. Would it be Ivy? If Ivy's going to be a part of that starting unit, really don't know. But nevertheless, I'm just excited that the Detroit Pistons are back playing basketball. This is going to be my first season as a content creator for the Detroit Pistons. So I'm really looking forward to doing all these game previews, game post games, everything in between. I think it's going to be a really fun year. You guys know where I stand on this team and how I feel like this year is going to shake out. But of course, the possibilities are endless. So that's the fun in it. Get to see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. I'm excited. Detroit basketball. It's back, baby. Let's go.